thinking about why the CEO got let go, why this reorg is going. But the fact is, you can't actually control any of that. So is it good use of your time? Probably not, particularly if you're a leader. Instead, thinking about when you're going through those changes and you hear that moment, what do you actually control? Right? And what you actually control is usually your mental state, your body language, your timeliness, your communication, your actual physical presence. Right? These are the only things, or just maybe a couple other things. These are the main things that you actually control in your day. So when you're going through that change, particularly as a leader, really thinking through, how do I make sure I stay in control of the things that I actually have power over? What can I influence? Right? You can influence, let's say, that situation with the new CEO coming in. I can influence what he or she does. I can influence fellow VPs. I can influence my peers. I can influence them, but I can't actually control. Right? But I can influence. I can influence what my team thinks about the change. I can't control what they think about the change, but I can influence how they feel about it. What's my circle of concern? Well, not circle of concern. My circle of nothing. Basically, gossip about the change. Right? I would say this is the one thing when change is going on, and you as a leader, reminding your team, gossiping about it doesn't actually do anything. And what actually happens? Does my entire team quit? Do I get fired? Does the company fail and go bankrupt and we all have to get new jobs? But you can't actually control any of that. So usually not useful spending a ton of time thinking about this. So when you're thinking about change and going through it, really important to spend as much of your energy as possible on that circle of control and really kind of grounding yourself there. Communicate it. This is a funny one because one of the things you actually do control is actually how you talk about it with your team. So my one slide with a ton of text on it. Sorry for that. It's a little story. We had an issue with an office in Dublin, right? A lot of great folks, but realized we had some parts of product and engineering over there, some parts in San Francisco. Collaboration wasn't as great as it could be between business teams and that office, so we needed to move kind of the central power to San Francisco. That was going to be a big change for these folks in Dublin. So one of the things that we almost got on a flight to go tell this team without actually writing down exactly what we were going to do. And it was funny, we actually convened together in a meeting, actually realized, holy crap, you think we're telling this person this. I think I'm telling this person that. This is going to end up in a complete and utter disaster. I've seen this a lot. You think about how do you communicate change? Everybody kind of thinks they're aligned, but there's a lot of details to work through. What do you do instead? Started to obviously do this. Just writing down some very simple answers. In writing, very important. What's happening and why? Give context. And again, not gossip about what's going on. Identify the impacted groups, like who actually physically is going to be impacted by this event. Establish an overall timeline of in who is doing what when. When are key people finding out? When is a team meeting happening? When is an email going out? Is there a company announcement? I know folks have been through some big changes. Some of these things can actually slip a little bit and not always be as crisp as we would like. So when dealing with that change, really getting specific and aligned, particularly when you know the stakes are going to be high. Draft those key messages for each audience, identify those key concerns, written FAQ, and identify key influencers. One of the things that, another fun story, basically we were announcing, about 6 months before I left, big org change before the CEO I just mentioned. And night before, CTO decides to resign. Oh, wow. Okay, it's a little different. So we get together actually up until like 2 a.m, actually write down exactly what's happening with all the engineering directors, PM directors, making sure that folks totally get it and are locked and ready to go into that next day. So when you're going through change with your team, are you really aligned and making sure that's written down in there? Practice. Simulate real people. And one of the best